Hey guys, so it's Wednesday now and I need to make an ice cream cake. So what I'm gonna do is I normally make like the large one. I'll link the real recipe down below, the one on my site, although that's not even the one that I normally make. That one's like completely allergy free for like people who have food allergies. The one I usually make for my family is like, I usually get their favorite ice creams, dairy filled, and I do the actual iconic, it's like chocolate, the little chocolate crunchies, and then the vanilla, and then like the toppings. The one on my site uses a base, so it's like a base on the bottom before the ice cream, and it's with like oats and like chocolate and stuff. So without like processed cookies, but it's a lot better with like totally processed sugar. And because I'm only making it for this one person, I'm making a smaller one. However, I forgot that I don't have like plastic wrap in my house. I have foil, wax paper, parchment, but I don't use plastic wrap, so like I never bought it. And now I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? Because I need to line my 6-inch cake tins, because I only have a springform pan that's 8 inches and it's too big. It'll be too thin of a cake. So I'm gonna try to use like a plastic produce bag. So like this. I honestly don't know if it's gonna work. It may be a mess, but I'm gonna like make it. I'll probably like speed it up. I just missed a call and I have to take a phone call too. This is crazy. Today is a crazy day. Yeah, I will, well, you guys will see me assemble it. Okay, so I have this kind of wrapped in the produce bag, and now I'm gonna put the ice cream in here. And then I'm hoping I can layer the next, or I could do the middle and then do the last thing of ice cream, and then just, when this is frozen, just lift this out. Like, I hope it'll work. This could be a complete mess and I'm gonna be embarrassed, but we'll see. So I'm starting with this sea salt caramel ice cream. So it's not the chocolate. He doesn't like chocolate ice cream, which is crazy. So we're gonna do this caramel. So what I wanna do, I think that's my ice maker, which is really scary. I'm gonna put this in here. Or maybe I'll just squeeze it out. This may be easier. Like this. And now, see, I think initially it's going to be a little difficult because I'm thinking like maybe, but no. But see, so you have to like, it's hard to do with the plastic. That's definitely, I'm just gonna try to like push it down. So typically, this is made with just plain with rich chocolate ice cream as a classic Carvel cake. And then what I do is I take Hershey's chocolate syrup, and it always is gluten-free though, no matter what, because my mom is gluten-free. So whenever I made this for like my brother's birthday or her birthday, I just use the gluten-free cookies. Like even if it was for my brother, like he doesn't care, and it doesn't matter in this cake. Like you can't tell. So yeah, so I'm gonna, and then, so I crush up the cookies, and then I put in a little bit of syrup just so they stick together. So instead of like say butter for like a cookie like pie crust, the syrup works great, and just a little bit, and then I sprinkle that over, and it creates that like middle layer. So actually, I think this will work. I just don't know necessarily how we're gonna get it out of here. I just hope. Now, maybe I'll have to do like I don't know if I need to press it down yet. I'm trying to think, like, let's just see if I do this really quick and just see where it, actually, yeah, you know what, I think this will work. All right, guys, I wish this was just a little bit tighter. But this one kind of works. But you don't want it completely frozen because yeah, like it's way too difficult to blend together. Okay, so there we go. So we're gonna put this back in the freezer and we'll get the cookies ready. Okay, so now I'm gonna use, I thought I had other ones, but I have these double chocolate crunchy cookies. I have a bunch that are the soft bake ones, but that's gonna be too, they need to be a little crunchy. And I thought I was gonna do like just chocolate chip instead of the double chocolate, because I'm not sure like with caramel, I don't know what else to use. So we're just gonna use the double chocolate. So I'm gonna use this little pack first. Now I'm not even sure how many I need because it's small. So about half, because basically, the whole thing, because these quarts are 16 ounces, and I think the normal, these pints, the normal quarts are like double that, right? I typically don't buy ice cream, so I really don't know. Yeah, so I think I'm just gonna use this. Another produce bag, I swear, I always get extra ones, and they come in handy all the time. Like I use these if I have like something smelly, like a tuna fish can or something, or like fish pack, something with fish, or like some like old kind of something that I just need to throw in there that I know is gonna smell weird, and then I like squeeze out the air, tie it up, and then throw it in the garbage. Then like the garbage doesn't smell, and you have to like take that out like right away with an unfilled garbage. So that's a little pack. These I actually bought for making an ice cream cake when my family came to visit, although I ended up not doing that, ran out of time. Okay, so 3, this is 6, I don't know, I think I'm gonna do just this, see how these are pretty soft already. But if you just kind of crush them up, hopefully this plastic is pretty thin. I hope this doesn't break. I'm gonna be really pissed. Normally I'd be like smashing this. This reminds me of when I'm making the peppermint bark and I have to smash the peppermint candies. Now, candy canes are so like difficult to crush because of like the wrapping that they're in, but actual hard peppermint candies, even worse. So that's just really loud because I usually take a hammer to it and then the bag breaks and it gets so sticky all over the floor. Little sugars come out. I realize you guys can't even see my face. That's okay, doesn't matter. Yeah, I think this is probably enough. So that's good. And then I'm gonna take this syrup that I bought from Aldi and probably just squeeze just a little bit. And like 2 teaspoons or so. So just a little bit. And then you just want to make this. It just makes it a little bit stickier, so it's easier to like stick to the ice cream. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so you see the bag already broke right there. So now, this ice cream is really soft to start with. So, you know, honestly, it may be easier to do that. Just break this, break it open a little bit more, and then just pour them in. I think that's already too many cookies. See, I already used a little too much. Shouldn't even need that many. And then you just kind of use your finger to like break it down. it helps that the ice creams actually don't blend all the way in together, because you don't want that. Now you don't want them to go all the way to the edge either. It'll be difficult to cut, but looks like we already did that. Maybe just a little bit more. I think this actually was like the perfect amount. Probably could use one last cookie, but yeah, so. Okay, and now what we want to do is freeze this again. And I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit longer because I want the cookies to be totally cold before we put the next layer on. So this is gonna go in the freezer. And I'll try to like fix the camera so you can actually see my face, but I will come back in a little bit and we'll do the last layer. You can see me when I stand back, but I want you to see what I'm actually doing. Now you can probably see my face. Yeah, so now I'm going to do the vanilla layer on top of the crunchies, and that's kind of hard to, like, it needs to be semi-soft because it needs to like spread over those, and because like they will pick up. So if you like, you'll see what I mean, but it can be a little difficult. So this is where I need to keep the bottom part frozen. You don't want it to melt too much while you're trying to spread the top layer. So let's see what happens. The other concern I have is like, I hope that this is tall enough. It should be. Usually, it usually goes right to the edge, and even because there's a Cool Whip layer, so that's what I'm a little worried about, but we can always do that like when we pull this out. So I'm going to, see, normally there's like, I have to like wash all my utensils and everything because I don't want the chocolate streaks in the vanilla, but this, it doesn't matter because it was vanilla ice cream with caramel. And sometimes with the other one, I don't even need the entire like quart of ice cream because you just don't need that much. There was always like a little bit left, and I was always like, what do I do with this? And I always had to like melt it in the sink with like hot water to like get it down the drain, because otherwise like melted ice cream in the garbage, I don't know, it's like messy. So hopefully, I don't know if we can use all of this, or, you know, actually this is really frozen. So, ooh, see, this is where things get messy. I may actually need this to come to room temperature a little bit more. So, I don't know if I want to have this sit out. If we put like half of this, this is 3 servings. Isn't a pint like 4 servings? Okay, so that's about half. It's pretty easy to squeeze out, but it's so frozen that I'm like, ugh. Okay. So actually, we're gonna want this to sit out for a second. I should have let this sit at room temperature to soften a bit before. The other one was just really soft for some reason. Maybe because there was extra stuff in there. But now it's like it's on here and I like gotta. All right, so we are going to hope that that stays frozen enough. And we're gonna wait, and that needs to like soften up, and then you can semi-spread it. And I'm hoping that's all I need. I may, because obviously the one you want the most flavor with is the one that's not vanilla. And then you do the Cool Whip. So it has to be Cool Whip because it has to have that like, it can't be normal whipped cream or it'll just like slide right off and melt. Cool Whip stays more frozen. So when you're like serving it and lighting the candles and stuff, it won't completely just melt. Although it does melt pretty quickly, so you gotta like serve it and put it back in the freezer rather quickly. But you want it to be semi-soft again so you can cut it. So it's a game, and you gotta make sure that the freezer is right there in case you need to throw it back in. But yeah, so, and definitely don't put too many candles on because then the heat will just like completely melt it. But yeah, so then this vanilla, then the Cool Whip, and then you add sprinkles or like little like gel frosting decorations or something like that. And then last minute is when you put the candles on, like right before you're gonna serve it. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun thing to build, and it's pretty simple. Once you get the routine down, you just kind of know. But like obviously it doesn't take skills to do this. You're literally just assembling things. You don't have to do any cooking unless you make like homemade ice cream, so yeah. Okay, hopefully this is semi-soft now. Yeah, it's just hard. I think if you don't, more pieces. Oh man, it's gonna be a little messy. Basically just keep pressing it down and eventually it'll like, this is where it'll actually form to the 6-inch size because you're like really, but see the other part's melting. And sometimes you have to use your fingers. So what we're gonna do, make sure this stays down for the most part. And then these kind of, yeah, see, you just have to, I should have done like smaller scoops and then it works a little better. But if you use your fingers, because this is coming up, so. Okay, so if we take, this is where it gets messy. So I'm telling you, that first layer is easy. And then this is where you just kind of need to, yeah. Okay, so we probably will need the whole thing. It flattens pretty, like a lot, so. That first layer, it just was so melty. Whew. All right. Make sure you wash your hands before you do this. See, I don't know, like, I don't remember. When I made this the first time, obviously I made it with like vegan ice cream. I don't remember, does vegan ice cream melt more quickly? I don't know. But hopefully, and I usually use like really expensive, kind of expensive ice cream. This is not, this is just like Walmart brand. So I'm hoping, I just hope it tastes good. Okay, so now that we have like most of it, it's like pretty much pressed to the sides. It's okay if like the middle gets a little messy. Yeah, because now we're just gonna smooth it out as much as we can to try to make it even. But it may be, and it's been a few years, like 2-3 years maybe since I made this. So that's really sad. But I usually use a springform pan and it's just a lot easier. Well, actually, we always struggle to get it out. All right, so now this, I'm gonna rinse my fingers quickly. And now we're gonna put this right back into the freezer for like a while. Okay, and now I'm gonna clean up because the last thing we have to do is just a whipped cream, and I don't think we need this spatula. When it's like the smaller, you could just use this big spoon. So you really don't even mess anything up. Like, you don't make a mess. You just use, if you just use the plastic bags and then you use whatever your pan is gonna be and then your 1 spoon. But I do suggest using like the flat thing if you want like a really flat surface, and depending on the pan that you use, this can be easier. Yeah, so that's it, and I will come back in a little bit and do the cool up. I'll probably do that more towards like when I'm gonna be serving it, because the cool up does tend to like melt more when it's like out of the container and stuff, so we'll see. Okay, so the last part, I'm gonna try to do the cool up topping and just see, and I hope it comes out. Like, I'm so scared to lift it out of that pan, because normally with the springform pan, the side comes out, so you don't, like the whole, and like the rim at the top, so only the bottom stays. And then, yeah, sometimes it's a little hard to like slip that under, or like if you put parchment paper under there, sometimes like you rip up the paper. But this, I'm worried about lifting it up. Like, maybe I should have put something harder on the bottom. I don't know, but we will see. Fingers crossed when we go to like actually serve it, this isn't an embarrassing mess. I will cry. All right, so geez, I mean, it's frozen still, so we'll quickly open this. I'm thinking it's better if it's actually completely done than like waiting. I don't know. Right, this is kind of annoying. I'm gonna try to do things fast and it's just not, it's not happening. So this is Walmart brand. I hope this is okay. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take just, this is pretty good. So, you know what? Forgot that. This needs to, again, we're gonna put this back in, and I'm not gonna mess it up this time because that needs to like unfreeze a bit. Yeah. So this is so solid. I think my freezer is like so strong. So my fridge, this top shelf, freezes everything. So like if I want something to like last a while, you put it on the top shelf. Like I've had my milk cartons freeze like every single time, and cashew milk just, it separates. It's kind of gross, but at least I know it'll like stay fresh for a long time. So the freezer is super strong too, and that's why I'm hoping that'll like be hard enough that when I lift it out, it's not gonna like break. So, oh man, I don't know. Maybe I should have gotten like the whole bar, but if I have a large one, like it's such a mess because I can't eat this. So I'm like, you either need to take the rest of it with you when you leave, or it's gonna get thrown out. So the little one seemed like a good idea, but I totally forgot that I use a springform pan. So I guess the next thing that I need to buy is a 6-inch springform pan. Now I have 3 6-inch pans, which are great for like a 3-layer kind of like small personal cake, which is usually what you see. I always had 2, but the 3 is good. But now it's like I need a 4th one that is like springform. All right, so I think this is good because now it's like a little melted. It's like so quick because like the edges melt quicker. So this, yeah, and this is hard because it gets stuck to the metal. So it's like when it's too cold, it gets stuck. I just hope this refreezes like okay, kind of. Like right now it's melty. And I'm just gonna use a little bit at the time. Again, you kind of have to use your fingers because the heat, the slight warmth from your fingers works like well with just pressing it down because it's just the right amount, so it's not too warm. But and then the spoon is so cold because it's metal. This is where it definitely gets messy here. Oh my god. And I guess I'm gonna like take it out on a plate. Like I honestly don't know because normally I cut it on the pan. Oh man. And this is like the first thing, actually no. He's tried the cookies that my pumpkin white chocolate chip cookies. I'm just like, wow, like all these things are like, I'm like, okay, I really hope this tastes okay. It's embarrassing if not. All right, so this is where you can also kind of even it out where, let's say it wasn't totally flat, like where the ice cream is kind of uneven, because you can just fill this in with extra. And honestly, frozen Cool Whip is the best. I remember coming in from like playing in the snow on like a snow day and having hot chocolate and then a scoop of frozen Cool Whip. So it slowly melts into the hot chocolate. Oh my gosh, it looked the best. And they also, so they have Cocoa Whip is the vegan version. So Delicious makes it. And it's pretty awesome. That's what I use in the recipe on my blog. Okay, so this pretty much, I think this is okay. I'm just gonna do a little bit over here, and then I'm just gonna put this back into the freezer for a little bit, just, yeah. Okay, put my hands off. Okay, and now I'm just gonna lift back into the freezer. And then you don't need the spoon anymore, so you can just wash this. And then I guess I'll just save this for, honestly, I don't know. But yeah, that should be good. So I just took a shower, that's why my hair is wet. I need to dry in time to straighten it. Now, the last thing I forgot, and I probably should have done this before I put in the freezer the last time, sprinkles, and they just stick, so I'm hoping it'll just stick anyway to cool with. And then I got some gel, but I'm not, I mean it's pretty small, so I'm not gonna be able to write much, but I usually do like a circle, and then I use sprinkles on the outside. It's a lot easier to just kind of like give you some guidelines. So we'll try doing that right now. So now I think if I kind of want to take this from out underneath, this is going to be pretty telling. See, and then, all right, we're gonna hope that this comes out, because if it doesn't, okay, it does. All right, I just had to make sure that it would come out. So now, hopefully that didn't just mess up. It probably just messed it up. Okay, so I'm gonna take this gel. Oh, it's one of those weird ones. I'm gonna cut this first. Test it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, yeah, more of like, I guess, right? My circle making skills are probably really bad. Usually that's what I do. And for some reason I always pick blue, even when I do like this frosting and stuff. I don't know. Now, these sprinkles, I think, I was like picking out like, I think the orange, there's like no orange left, or maybe there is, I don't know. When I was making like a pumpkin cake last year, I needed just one color, and it was so hard to find it, of course. And that little guy falls in the blue. Well, it's like, I like the sprinkles, and I think you should always include them. However, this is like caramel. I don't know. I don't have any fun caramel things because it's not really a very easy vegan thing to find in the store. You have to make it yourself, which I do have a recipe for caramel that I made because I tried to make caramel apples last year, or the year before last year, when I was still living in New Jersey, and it didn't work. Homemade caramel like didn't stick to the apples at all. It was a mess. So now this is like, ooh, yeah, this is definitely frozen. It's good. It's definitely good. But you want to press them in a little bit, otherwise these will just fall right off. I need some like culinary tweezers, and that's usually what you do for like food styling and stuff. It would be really helpful right now because I'd be able to pick out that one little guy that fell in the blue. It's all the green ones that layered so close to the blue. I just don't want that. Okay. Slightly. Oh, the yellow one. I don't know, that one looks like it's a lost cause. Yeah, slightly. I may be able to go back over that. I mean, I think that's about it. I don't want too many. Kind of stupid. But that's kind of like outlines the area we're gonna put the candles. So let me just touch this up. There. Okay. I think that's good. I'm gonna take a pre-candle picture and post it on my stories. And I hope that this works. All right, I'll probably insert like an image of it with the candles and stuff when we actually serve it, but for now I think that's about it. That's all you guys got to see. When you go to cut it, you want it frozen, but not too frozen because you want the knife to be able to sink in. So if you freeze the knife, that usually works and that helps. This may be easier to cut because I don't have a bottom base to it. Yeah, I hope that we can actually lift this out and it's not a big mess. I'm gonna put it in the freezer now. And yeah, and wish me luck. And I really hope that this is not an embarrassing mess, but it should work, so.